In L.A Noire, the truth doesn't actually matter. Most detective stories are simple. You find the killer, you arrest them, and in the end, justice wins. L.A Noire looks like that kind of story at first. You collect evidence, you interrogate suspects, and you close cases. But the deeper you get into the game, the more something starts to feel a little bit off. Because in L.A Noire, solving the crime isn't always the goal. Sometimes the system has already determined what the truth is, and when that happens, justice stops mattering. What matters is speedy results and keeping up the illusion of safety. L.A Noire isn't really a story about solving crimes, it's a story about what it costs to fight corruption. At first, L.A Noire presents itself like a classic detective story. We play as Cole Phelps, a veteran recently returned from World War II, carrying his own personal demons. The LAPD seems like the perfect place for him. He knows what's right, what's wrong, he's uncompromising, and he'll always seek out justice, even if it lands him in hot water. And as the player, we get to embody those same qualities. It's our job to find the evidence, interrogate suspects, and ultimately catch the bad guy. But Cole's cases are not always as clear-cut as they seem, and sometimes they expose a darker truth hiding at the heart of L.A Noire. And this truth starts peeking through surprisingly early. In one investigation, Cole is trying to find out who abused a 15-year-old girl. He finds the creep responsible and even has clear evidence tying him to the crime. But before he can arrest him, Roy Earl, a detective from Vice, steps in and shuts the whole thing down. Why? Because the man is a Vice informant. And just like that, someone who should have been arrested walks free. At first, the corruption is subtle. It's kind of easy to miss. But as the story goes on, it becomes harder and harder to ignore. During Cole's time as a homicide detective, he investigates a series of murders similar to the Black Dahlia case. Each case ends with someone behind bars, but something about it doesn't sit right with him. The pieces, they just don't quite add up. Cole begins to suspect that the people previously arrested may have been framed, and that the real killer, the same one responsible for the murder of Elizabeth Short, is still out there. But top brass doesn't want to hear that kind of thinking. Instead, they wrap the whole thing up as a string of copycat killers and move on, because admitting they arrested the wrong people would mean admitting they made a mistake. And that's something the department simply isn't willing to do. When the real killer is finally revealed and put down, the truth is quietly buried. The murderer turns out to be the nephew of a governor, and since it's an election year, having a serial killer in the family would make for some very bad headlines, so the story disappears. Cole gets promoted, and the previously arrested suspects are released, but they are never declared innocent. Instead, certain pieces of evidence conveniently go missing, forcing a mistrial. And just like that, the problem quietly disappears. This isn't the only time the system protects itself. Some detectives openly work with criminals, accept and bribe some figures like Mickey Cohen. Certain people are considered untouchable, and those are the people that decide what the truth is. And if you don't like that, if you don't fit into the system like a neat little puzzle piece, the system will get rid of you. That's exactly what happens to Cole. Cole is a man of principles and morals. He's a clean package surrounded by filth, which makes him dangerous to the system around him. He seeks out the truth no matter how uncomfortable it might be, and that's exactly what leads to his downfall. In the middle of a scandal, and in an attempt to shift attention away from the police chief, information is leaked to the press, revealing that Cole is having an affair with the German singer Elsa. Normally, that might not be the biggest headline in the world, but context matters. Cole is married with children. He's a decorated war hero and a rising star within the LAPD. And anti-German sentiment was still incredibly high after the war. Suddenly, the department has the perfect scapegoat. Cole is kicked in the teeth because of his morals, but even that doesn't stop him. Even after his demotion, even after his fellow officers turn against him, he continues searching for the truth. His investigation into a series of arsons eventually uncovers a conspiracy involving influential figures cutting corners on housing developments, building homes with dangerously poor material just to maximize profits. And it's the same conspiracy that pulls Elsa into the investigation. Cole convinces Elsa to help him dig deeper into what's really going on. Together, they begin following the trail of corruption, which eventually leads Elsa to Dr. Fontaine, a man with ties to the very conspiracy Cole has been trying to expose. Seeing Dr. Fontaine nearly cost Elsa her life. In the final moments of the game, Cole rushes in to save her during a massive flood in the sewers beneath the city. And while he manages to get Elsa and Jack Kelso to safety, Cole doesn't make it out himself. And in the end, Cole Phelps pays the ultimate price for refusing to look the other way. But the ending of L.A Noire shows us a very grim reality. The system survives, and the people who try to fight it rarely do. At Cole's funeral, the very people who smeared his name sit behind his casket, pretending that he was the best detective the department ever had. Cole as a character is fascinating, because he is everything a good man should be. He is steadfast in his beliefs and refuses to be corrupted by the system around him. But people like that rarely last. At first, someone like Cole is good for the press. He's a shining example of what a police officer should be. But eventually, the higher-ups realize that Cole is like a dog with a bone. He will not stop digging. And once that happens, he stops being useful. He stops being a hero. Instead, he becomes a problem, someone who threatens the status quo, and because of that, he has to go. L.A Noire was never really about solving crimes, it was about the cost of fighting corruption in a dirty world, and Cole Phelps paid that price.